Hi everyone and welcome back to a new video on realizations. This is the second video of the two-part video series about GDPI preparation in detail. In part 1, we handled strategy and covered what do GDPIs actually test, what should be your preparation strategy, where we covered the 4 pillars: you, knowledge, delivery and simulation, and finally a weekly and daily plan. If you haven't watched it already, go and watch that first. Now, in this video, we'll go question by question and try to build a personalized template that you can follow and adapt your answers to the most commonly asked B-School interview questions. Tell me about yourself, why MBA, why this college, your strengths and weaknesses, your future goals, academics and work experience, gap years and failures. Before we begin, like always, I like to start my videos by sharing some don'ts, things that you must keep in mind. And whenever you're preparing for interview and when you're in the final interview place, please don't bluff. It's okay to say I don't know gracefully, because bluffing is the fastest way to lose trust. Second, use more stories than adjectives. I'm hardworking feels like noise, but a 40-second story about your perseverance or hard work can go a very long way. And finally, in all your answers, try to be structured and concise. Each answer should not extend beyond 60 to 120 seconds. So let's get started with the first and the most common HR question. Tell me about yourself. So the best way to answer tell me about yourself is to start with a hook, then move on to a story which also has further hooks, and finally end with a strength. Let me show it to you with an example. Step 1, start with a hook. This hook should be short, real, something that is unique, and most importantly, gets the interviewers engaged. Example, I grew up in a small town where my parents ran a medical store. So from class 6 onwards, I was the unofficial stock manager and cashier at home. I've spent most of my life in 3 different cities, a small town in Rajasthan, Delhi, and now Bangalore. And each move has kind of rewired my personality. My brother Ritvik, who also made it to IIM Bangalore, usually started his tell me about yourselves with a line like, I started working since the age of 14. Something that makes them think and go, tell me more. The next is your journey, but with some loose ends. Cover your school, your college, your degree, any spikes, key positions of responsibilities and achievements, any internships, work experience highlights, or freelancing experience, and your current status if you're working, preparing full-time, or in a gap year. In the body also try throwing some hooks, like in my college I led a 25-member team that went on to do this, or alongside my job I've been running a successful YouTube channel, or freelancing. These are the loose ends that the interviewers love to pick on. And finally, end with your strength. Your closing point of tell me about yourself has to be the point where you want the conversation to go. For example, over time, I've realized I enjoy understanding how customers think more than just writing code. So I've been reading a lot about marketing and consumer behavior, and that's where I see myself post my MBA as well. The last thing you say often becomes the first thing that the interviewer questions you on, so use it to your advantage. Second, coming to the iconic why MBA. And to answer this iconic question is an iconic framework. A to B to C. A is where you are right now, B is where you want to go, and C is how an MBA through this B school will help you achieve that. Here is an example from a software engineer's perspective. Right now, I'm working as a software engineer at X, building in so-and-so product or so-and-so domain. Over the last 2 years, I've realized I'm most excited when we discuss why we are building a feature, which users, what platform, and what impacts the revenue. In the medium term, I see myself in product management role in a tech company, working at the intersection of tech, users, and business. At this point, I understand the tech side well, but I lack structured exposure to areas like marketing, strategy, and finance, and also haven't worked cross-functionally at a larger scale. An MBA will give me the structured exposure through courses, projects, and peer learning, and also open doors to PM roles through internships and placements. That's why an MBA at this stage is the most efficient way for me to move from a pure tech role to a business-facing product role. You can adopt this answer depending on your stage of life. If you're a fresher, begin with your current skills. Move on to the areas where you want to explore towards XY industries or XY roles, and how MBA will give you the exposure as well as signaling which is needed to crack those roles. If you're someone who's using an MBA as a career shifting opportunity, then you can begin with your current role or current industry. Where do you want to go, and how an MBA will give you the right skills, the right network, and the right opportunities to get there. Avoid using vague words without giving examples. Even saying that I want to get into an entrepreneurship without having a solid idea or plan may seem too far-fetched. The next one is, why this particular college? And the most common mistake the students make here is that they start dropping random facts. The college was founded in this year, or the annual average package is so and so. So please don't make this mistake and instead follow this structure. Start with specific strengths that matter to you. 2 or 3 concrete points are enough. For example, any particular electives or courses that the college offers, any centers of excellence, or any renowned professors that you want to study from. Or it could be strong recruiters that come to the college for your domain of interest. Or maybe a culture that you relate to. Student-driven, case-focused methodology, a lot of life projects. Next comes the point where you tie these strengths to your story. For example, since I'm targeting brand management roles, the strong FMCG recruiter base here, along with initiatives like clubs or competition, will be very relevant for me. And finally, show them that you've done your homework about the college. Mention something that a random applicant wouldn't know. A unique program, a flagship event, a startup incubator, etc. Be short, specific, and personal. Don't just say things like great ROI, a top college, strong alumni. Everyone says that. Next, let's move on to strengths and weaknesses. 2 strengths are good enough as long as you present them with a beautiful story. Example, one of my strengths is that I don't give up too easily, and then directly start with an example or a story. In my 3rd year of college, we were organizing this fest or something like that. And always remember to use the STAR method when explaining stories. I'd covered this in detail in the first part of the video, so do check it out. And once you're done with the story, tie back with the initial strength that you had started. That experience showed me that I can push through ambiguity. When it comes to weaknesses, again, 1 or 2 should be enough. Of course, they should be honest, but within control. A good pattern to follow would be to name that weakness, give an example, and always add in a point about what you're doing to improve upon that weakness. For example, a weakness I'm working on is over-detailing. I tend to spend too much time perfecting slides and hesitate to delegate. I realized this during a recent project when so-and-so, and begin with the story. Now, what are you doing to work on this? Since then, I've started setting time limits for myself and actively asking team members if the extra polishing is actually adding value or just my own need for perfection. Needless to say, avoid using fake weaknesses. Something like, I work too hard, unless you actually have a real story and it's a true weakness. The next question is about short-term and long-term goals. Through these kind of questions, the interviewer is trying to check if you have a rough direction in mind. Of course, no one exactly knows what they want to do 5 years or 10 years down the line, but a rough direction with a plan really helps. It always helps if this goal is consistent with your past experience and your why MBA. And also it has to be somewhat realistic. Now here are some examples. For short-term goal, which is 3 to 5 years post your MBA, in the short term, I'd like to work in so-and-so function, in so-and-so type of company or industries, in roles that involve certain kind of works. Now, of course, this is just a template and it will require you a lot of self-reflection and talking to people to understand what are the roles available and what is it that interests you. Then for the long term, which is 7 to 10 years post your MBA, in the long term, I see myself heading a certain function in a certain type of company, or it could be building my own small business in so-and-so domain once I've seen enough scale and learned from different leaders. And always connect them to your story. Past experiences that nudged you in direction, how you got interested in this domain, the skills that you already have, and the ones that you'll have to acquire or build upon. And definitely include how your MBA will help fill those remaining gaps. Like I said, no one knows for sure what they want to do. But you also can't say, I'll figure out once I get there. Have some rough direction or a rough idea which is based on genuine interest and research that you've done from talking to real people. Next are questions about academics and your favorite subject question. When they ask you about your favorite subject, name a subject that you've recently revised. I had covered this in detail in the first part of the video as to what level of depth you need to cover in your favorite subjects. But be ready to define the subject in one line. The basic concepts of the subject should be on your fingertips. Also real life applications and how the subject is connected to the real world, and also be ready to accept if you don't know anything. I'm sorry, I don't recall the exact formula or the exact concept, but I'll definitely go and read it up. Or something like, I don't remember the exact thing, but I remember it was something related to this context. That's also helpful as long as the two concepts are related. Here, I'll also like to cover those questions that come up if your marks are really, really low. In such situations, it's always best to take responsibility instead of giving random excuses. Briefly explain what went wrong: poor time management, mismanagement of priorities, or a genuine health or personal issue. Always try to highlight how you changed it or overcame it later. Something like, I tried my best to get better grades in the later semesters, or even though my marks were low, I made up for it by working extra hard for my placements and cracking a great job, or that I took those low marks as a motivation and worked extra hard for my recent exams, for example, CAT. And next, we move on to questions about your work experience. Again, the best framework to use when answering questions related to your work experience is the STAR method. Set up the situation and the context, and then define the tasks, actions, and the result. Here's a solid example. In my last project, I worked on so-and-so reporting. The methods were outdated or the reporting system was outdated. Though my main task was just to get results, so-and-so, but along with following that KPI or getting the result, our team went and revamped the old system to the new latest technology, and then how it positively impacted the team. This gives them the whole context, how you specifically helped, the technology or skills you used, and your business acumen. Next comes the dreaded questions about gap years, career breaks, or extreme switches between careers. These aren't necessarily as big red flags as people consider them to be, but it's an issue if you try to hide them or give nonsensical or very defensive answers. Here's a better way to handle it. After graduation, I took a year off. The first few months honestly went in confusion and unstructured prep, and I'm not really proud of it. But after that, I started anything: teaching, freelancing, internships, structured preparation, which helped me gain so-and-so skills, gain clarity, etc. Looking back, the gap taught me X, Y, Z, and now I'm a lot more deliberate about how I use my time. The key idea here is to be honest about the messy part. No one is perfect, no one's career journey is perfect. It's okay, accept the chaos, but also show how you went on to clarity from that chaos. Show what you learned, show how you changed as a person, and how it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for the gap year. Next comes the question about why should we select you, or what makes you different. Now, honestly, my take for these kind of questions is to start with humility. Something like, I'm sure there are many more candidates with very strong profiles and achievements. And then slowly come to what you bring to the table. I've been a top performer here with so-and-so achievements, and what I bring is a combination of analytical skills, good communication, and experience of leading, building, marketing, etc. Here's an honest example that happened with me in one of the scholarship interviews that I was giving. The question was the same: why should we give you the scholarship? And I remember honestly telling them that throughout this conversation, I've tried to explain to you why I deserve the scholarship or why I need the scholarship. But if you feel that there's someone out there who needs it more than me, then I'll trust your judgment and I'll be happy to give it up for someone who needs it more than me. No fake bragging and no fake humility. Just calm confidence, while accepting that I may not be the absolute best, but here are the things that I bring to the table. And also that I'll try to make full use of the opportunity if I'm granted an admission in this esteemed institution. And the last point is to keep everything consistent. Your answers to all these questions: tell me about yourself, your weakness, why MBA, your past experiences, even your VAT essays, all of them need to be coherent and point in the same direction. If you say you're data driven, but in your GD or your VAT, there are no data, just opinions, then that's a mismatch. So once you've written your drafts to all these questions, read them back to back and see if all of it is making sense, if all of it is pointing towards the same kind of person. If no, then you certainly need to rethink and change your answers. That's all I had for you in this video. I know it got extra long, but I hope this was really helpful for you. I hope you're able to use all these frameworks and different type of templates. And like I said, this is the second part of the 2-video GDPI preparation series. If you haven't checked out the first one, definitely check it out because it will give you some strategies and ways to plan your preparation. All the very best, and I hope you crack your best interview calls and get to your dream B schools. All the best. Bye bye.